Beginning November 5, the one-year anniversary of Trump's election, flood D.C. in nonviolent protest. Surround the White House. Surround the Capitol. Surround the illegitimate fascist-packed Supreme Court. Come back again and again. Across the country, refuse to comply. Every person of conscience, millions of us together, grind the machinery of this fascist regime to a halt. Don't stop until Trump is removed. There is no guarantee that this will succeed. But there are times and circumstances when, even as the challenge is daunting and the chances of success are uncertain and may seem unlikely, going up against powerful forces of oppression is necessary and a far better course of action than failing to do so. This is one of those times and circumstances. If the call from Refuse Fascism to flood D.C. with the nonviolent protest of millions beginning November 5 had not been made, if work to make this a reality were not being carried out, then any possibility of actually defeating and removing this fascist regime would be effectively shut down, and very soon. The profound reality is this: the massive mobilization called for by Refuse Fascism and open to all represents the real possibility, the only real possibility, of actually driving out this fascist regime and putting an end to the endless horrors it is determined to perpetrate. Yes, the Trump regime might seize on the mobilization for November 5 as an excuse to bring down further repression. But this regime has already brutally demonstrated that it intends to viciously persecute those it chooses to identify as enemies and to relentlessly repress any actual or potential forces of opposition within the ruling class itself, as well as in the larger society, whether or not they actively resist the regime. In the circumstances we are now facing, failing to even try to drive out this fascist regime, while there is still a possibility of succeeding, would be far worse than failing in the attempt to drive out the regime. As the call from Refuse Fascism plainly and sharply puts it, if we fail to even try, future generations, if they exist, will never forgive us. But we may not fail, as dramatically demonstrated by the accelerating juggernaut of the Trump fascist regime, and, on the other side, by the continuing protests and repeated massive rallies and marches against this fascist horror. These are not normal times. In these extraordinary times, things can change very rapidly, on a huge scale and with major impact. That can apply not only in very negative, but also very positive ways. The repeated outpourings against this regime can be built on and then given the most powerful expression in the mobilization and convergence on D.C. November 5 being called for by Refuse Fascism, with an open invitation to all who are outraged by Trump MAGA fascism. If this succeeds, it will be a truly historic achievement for humanity now, and something that will contribute in a profound way to the possibility for a far better world for future generations. And again, if millions are rallied to this call for a massive nonviolent but determined mobilization and convergence on Washington, D.C., November 5, there is a real possibility that this could succeed.